Hello, I am Jason Howard, Kentucky Department of Education's Office of Assessment Accountability. I work in the Division of the Assessment Accountability Support. Now, I'm excited to bring you today the first of two parts specific to the Overview Attainment Task Training. Now, I want to share that before you start the training, you will need to download the administration guide for today's training. A link can be found here on the opening slide. It is also found on the Kentucky Alternate Assessment Resources page. Now, many quiz questions will come from the administration guide, so it is critical to have access to it. Part one of today's training will focus on an overview of the assessment, along with key dates and requirements to prepare you for successful administration. I also want to share that there are live links in this training. However, in order to access the links from this training, you must view the PowerPoint and slideshow view. So if the notes are displayed or you see slides going up and down the left side of your screen, you are not viewing this in slideshow view. Now, an important highlight to note is the continued administration of the Quality of School Climate Safety Survey to alternate assessment students. Now, this survey is part of accountability that must be administered to all students. This includes students participating in the Kentucky Alternate Assessment. There are surveys represented for students in grades 3 through 5, and then grades 6 through high school designed specifically for students who will be assessed. This means if a student is not in an assessment year, they will not be responsible for completing the survey. Now, that said, the Quality of School Climate Safety Survey is under review for the 2022-2023 school year and will be released once it is finalized. It will be part of the window to administration. Continuing on with the Quality of School Climate Safety Survey, the survey will be provided in the Attainment Task Window 2 binder. It is printed on yellow paper behind the test administrator directions and on top of the table of contents. Each AT binder will have a copy of the Quality School Climate Safety Survey provided. The Quality of School Climate Safety Survey must be administered prior to administering any AT items. Results should be submitted in the Student Registration Database beginning April 17th, 2023. Now that we have discussed the Quality School Safety and Climate Safety Survey, let's turn our focus back on the test and what is required before you administer. Now, first and foremost, before you administer any Kentucky State assessment, you must receive administration code training and the inclusion of special populations training. If these trainings are not completed, then no test administration should occur. And last but not least, if you're completing this training, you will more than likely also be administering the alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment. So this training is also a requirement to administer the attainment task. Now, the Kentucky Alternate Assessment Program is made up of two assessment types. There is the Alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment, which is the attainment task. And then there is the Transition Attainment Record, or the TAR to most. Now, attainment tasks are administered this year to students in grades 3 through 11 in reading, mathematics, writing, science, and social studies, depending on which content is assessed at that specific grade range. We will actually look at these required areas in slides 10, 11, and 12. Now, the attainment tasks are actually picture-based items. They're multiple choice assessments, and they're fully scripted and read by the test administrator. There are two test windows for the Alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment Attainment Task Administration. Now, window 1 is November 14th through December 16th, 2022, and window 2 is April 17th through May 30th, 2023. When administering the attainment task, test administrators will read the script word for word, present their student with their question, and the option of 3 answer choices. Pictures are optional unless indicated in the script. Once your student responds, the answer is then recorded on your paper copy of the answer sheet provided with the actual material shipment. After the administration is over, the answers are then recorded electronically in the student registration database after you have been activated by your DAC, DOS, or District Alternate Assessment Administrator. Also, for your convenience, the alternate program calendar link on this slide is live and is a one-stop shop for all important dates for the alternate program as a whole. All dates for AKSA, TAR, CWC, ESAR, Infinite Campus, all of that can be found there. Part 2 of this training will focus solely on attainment task and the components related to that administration. Now, the Transition Attainment Record, or the TAR, is only administered at the high school level. It aligns with the ACT requirement at grade 11. For any students not meeting benchmark and hoping to use the TAR score for the academic portion of the transition readiness, the TAR may also be administered at grades 12 and 14 as long as the graduation code has not been assigned at grade 14. A training specific to the TAR will be made available on October 3rd, 2022. Now, the participation guidelines for the Kentucky Alternate Assessment went through some major revisions starting in the fall of 2017. Those revisions were completed and new guidelines were released on February 15th of 2018. For any questions about participation in Kentucky Alternate Assessment, I encourage you to contact our friends in the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. Allison Johnson in the Division of IEA Monitoring and Results is the lead. She does an amazing job with placement decisions and the participation process in its entirety. Now, slide 10 focuses on the content areas that will be addressed at the elementary level. One thing to note is that many schools have a different grade configuration, so your school may not be a 3 through 5 grade span. It may be a 3 through 6 or a 3 through 4. The 3 through 5 grade span is used at the state level, as that is how district accountability is represented for elementary. Slide 11 reflects the required content areas being assessed at middle school. And finally, slide 12 looks at the high school content areas to be assessed. If you will note in red, grade 9 and grade 12 no longer have attainment task administered at those grades. Nothing is assessed at grade 9, and only the TAR is available to those who choose to take it in grade 12. Now, looking at student assessments, a student completing the alternate Kentucky Summit Assessment will be tested based on the grade listed for him or her in Infinite Campus. It is critical that the grade placement be correct in Infinite Campus in September or no later than October this year before rosters for the Fall Window 1 assessments are pulled. Once a student participating in the alternate Kentucky Summit Assessment program has completed grade 12 and they plan to remain in school until age 21, they may then be enrolled in Infinite Campus as a grade 14 student. Now, if you are not familiar with the Alternate Kentucky Summit Assessments webpage, I encourage you to venture out on the KD website, locate the Assessment Accountability site on the homepage, select Assessments in the dropdown, and then double-click on the Alternate Kentucky Summit Assessment program link. There you find calendars, resource guides, trainings, all the things that you need to be familiar with the Alternate Kentucky Summit Assessment. So what happens now? Well, if you haven't already printed a copy of the administration guide provided along with this training, please do so. It is linked on slide 1 of this training. If you have students in grades 11, 12, and or 14 who need to take the TAR, that training will be released on October 3rd. Now, anyone planning to administer the Alternate Kentucky Summit Assessment this fall or in the spring must complete this training along with Part 2, which will follow. Complete the qualifying quiz found in the online training system and complete the Administration Code and Inclusion of Special Populations training all before November 14th, 2022. This just has to be completed once per year. The quiz is 20 questions, 3 of which are mandatory and must be answered correctly to receive a passing score. This training, along with the qualifying quiz, serves as a review each year before you administer the Alternate Kentucky Summit Assessments. This concludes Part 1 of this training. Stay tuned for Part 2, where we specifically talk about the attainment task administration. So this concludes our training. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at 502-564-4394 or at jason.howard@education.ky.gov. Thank you for your time.